Thank you. My name is Lucy Latham. I'm project manager at Julie's Bicycle. And today I'm going to talk to you about the transformative power of arts and culture, which I know you're already very well versed in, but particularly why they are integral to action on climate change. But first, Julie's Bicycle. So we are a charity based in London. We're in Somerset House. So if anyone is around that region, please come and visit us. And we work building a movement at the intersection of arts and culture and action on the environment and climate change. So why do we do this? Well, as we all know, culture is a powerful driver of lifestyles and identities, engaging emotion as well as intellect, and reflecting, interpreting, and critiquing social and cultural values. Climate change is ultimately the result of a set of values which are incommensurate with the finite resources of planet Earth. Values that uphold the individual over the collective, the extractor over the regenerator, the consumer over the steward, and the present over the future. So, if climate change is driven by cultural values, logic dictates it can only be tackled effectively by shifting them. So the climate movement is, in fact, a cultural movement. And that is why Julie's Bicycle was born. So what's really important to say is that already the creative community is not only rising to our current challenges, but are in fact the trailblazers, creating inspirational art that tells the story of our environment, using their voices as advocates on the world stage, and transforming strategically, operationally, to make them efficient and low-carbon places to make creative and cultural work. Cross-discipline collaborations have yielded smart ideas, technological innovations, and productive economic alternatives. But although the creative climate movement is growing in pace, diversity, thank God, and urgency, it is reliant on the space and steer for it to connect, align, multiply, and amplify. Now, policy, we think, is the architecture that can make this happen fast. However, although policy is impactful, it is also exceptionally fragile. As is currently evident, all it takes is one new leader to come in and the whole lot can be dismantled. No names. So what we have is a deficit of ethical leadership. Now, this is why our focus must also be in creating and fostering a critical mass on the ground, on the grassroots, investing in a new cohort of talent. So what kind of leadership do we need to realize this sustainable and equitable future? Well, that's the question that prompted the development of Creative Climate Leadership, the new intensive training course for artists and cultural professionals to enable them to take direct action on climate change. If artists and the wider cultural community have a unique and critical role, which they of course do, then we need to give them the skills, resources, and support so that they can take on these positions of influence and decision-making. And training and professional development are key parts of this process. So Creative Climate Leadership is an international, interdisciplinary program that aims to connect and enable a community of cultural leaders to take this active leadership role in shaping an environmentally sustainable future for the European cultural sector and beyond. And the project's mobility opportunities enable the exchange of knowledge, new skills, and business models within and between these regions. And I think it's important to say our first course in Wales, which happened this March, brought together 25 leading cultural voices from across Europe, Africa, Asia, and Australia. And the cohort included designers, fashion managers, festival organizations, curators, and artists. So this project, Creative Climate Leadership, realizes much of its value through its pan-European partnership approach. Our partnership consists of 8 organizations across Europe: Julie's Bicycle in the UK, Ars Baltica, PINA in Slovenia, On the Move, which is pan-European, Exit Foundation in Serbia, Coal in France, Krug in Montenegro, and Mitos 21 in Greece. And we think this combination of partner expertise forms what is the really unique set of resources that has supported the development of this program and supports the development of the cultural sector. And key topics within creative climate leadership include things like authentic leadership, climate justice, climate politics and science, diversity, communicating science, and scaling practical responses. And by working across Europe, we really think that we can create these better conditions for innovation to develop and thrive, and to build appropriate solutions much faster. And I don't know how much of you are well-versed in the science of climate change, but time is not something that we have that much of. So by sharing this knowledge, we can enable more creative professionals to engage with climate change and sustainability, especially when they are in contexts that face particular barriers to action, which might include lack of financial capacity, scale, time to act independently. So critically, this course has been designed for participants to bring their own challenges, which they work through with the facilitation team, the resident experts, over the duration of the course. The project recognizes that training is just one part of the equation, so creative climate leadership also includes ongoing support for the participants to use their learning so that they can go back to their creative communities wherever they are over the world, and develop new projects to share and distribute their expertise back in their hometowns, communities, countries. So creative climate leadership is really unique in this aspect, and furthermore, we think it's very unique in that it connects training and development to policy, shaped around the science-based targets of the Paris Agreement and the wider context and ambitions of the Sustainable Development Goals. And our next course will be taking place in Slovenia in October. The application is currently open. In fact, I think it might be quite close to being closed. So if you are interested, or if you know anyone who might be interested, please speak to me. I have flyers. And what I'm going to end on, I hope, if I've still got a minute, is that creative climate leadership was created in response to demand from the sector. It's not something we just pulled out of the air. It was in response to the will of the sector to act in this area in a robust and confident manner. So what's important to say is this demand is a sign, actually, that I think also the work of Julie's Bicycle evidences that what we have is a movement, a cultural renaissance, and a new way of working. So environmental ambition is rising, and there needs to be more initiatives to harness, foster, and champion it by working together to share skills, knowledge, and understanding across borders, because, of course, climate change does not know borders. The vast potential, we think, is still far from optimized, and it needs to be supported and championed by funders, by decision makers, by leaders, where projects like creative climate leadership can receive the resource and capacity that they need to flourish and drive change. Thank you very much.